Hey there, welcome to Thesis in 3 weeks, day 17. You've done a lot of work. You've been in a writing intensive for 2.5 weeks, and you're almost at the finish line. So take a moment before you start today to really appreciate how much you've learned, how much work you've done, and now we'll start to work on continuing to shape your thesis so that you can get to that final manuscript in a couple of days. So where we start today is editing the introduction. So you did your draft yesterday. There's probably something that's going to need fixing, and by fixing I mean expanding, adding to information. One of the things that can help if you need to kind of flesh out the introduction anymore is to look at your notes table and compare that. You can actually sort that alphabetically by citation if you've got a row for each citation. Compare your notes table to your reference list at the back of your document. You want to make sure that every reference that's in your notes ends up somewhere in your paper. So if you've missed a reference, chances are it belongs in your introduction. This is kind of like a little orphan area of papers. So make sure that you've used all your references and you've got an introduction that flows. This won't be the last time you're going to edit, but it really should flow and follow that funnel. And then anything that needs fixing in the lit review, you want to go through that section as well. So when you're finished with both of those, that's going to be a good chunk of your first couple hours. You can scan through them as just take another pass. Then you're going to move on to your little creative aspect of your paper, which is to create your figures, your tables, and your charts in the appendix. So you've already got, if you're doing a systematic review, you probably have a schematic. You already have your summary table in your appendix. Do you need any other charts or graphics? One thing you do not want to do is copy a chart from one of your data articles or some other reference and put it in your appendix. That's really just plagiarizing information. So if you want to add anything, it should be something that you're creating that's original to you. And if I guess we haven't mentioned anything about qualitative research yet, but there might be a way to put in your appendix quotations or things like that. That might be where you want to have examples. But make sure that any figures, tables, charts are in your appendix, and give yourself, if you're not great with word processing software, give yourself some time to make sure that you can change the orientation of the page to landscape for some of these, and then back again to portrait, and make sure that your page numbers follow and your headers, running head, things like that, all that follows you all the way through your paper. At the end of today, save 2 backup copies of your manuscript, save them in different places, but here's the funny thing. Don't start to label this is final, this is my final draft or whatever. It's really funny when students would do that. They would kind of get to the end of editing, and for a lot of students this can be, it's difficult because you're really trying to produce a good document, but they want it to be final, so they would say final 1, final version 2, final version 3. It gets to be a little ridiculous. So save your files with the dates or the draft version, whatever it is, but make sure you have 2 backup copies at the end of the day and different places, and you want to do that from here through the end, because this is the time that people have computer problems, the computer crashes, something weird happens. So just make sure that you save them. All right, so good luck today, and we'll see you tomorrow.